do I plan on living in multiple places in Australia, just Queensland or noosa? And I thought I'll kick it off with this one. It's a really interesting and prevalent question now I've just moved. So no, I don't have any plans currently to move out of Queensland or the noosa area. I have just moved to my new flat and apartment, so I have no plans to move in the next few months. However, my partner Jake is a commercial pilot in training / waiting for his first job and opportunity to come up, so he could be offered something really exciting through work. So I'm open-minded also to looking at moving with him if he moves to somewhere that I would find really, really interesting. So that could be like Sydney, especially if it's like around Manly area, or if there's any little towns along the coast, it would be really interesting, maybe Perth or other cities. I'm really open-minded, but I'm definitely not going to move to anywhere just for the sake of moving there. I think it'd be a waste to live in Australia and then to just live in noosa the entire time. So I definitely am planning on moving about, but it might not be for another 6 months or so. And yeah, I think if I'm going to move anywhere, I probably would end up moving to Sydney and like Manly area, or maybe Perth or somewhere a bit more remote along the Sunshine Coast. I do love living in Queensland. I love the weather here. I love the people. I love the beaches, but there's so much more of Australia yet to see, and I can always return here. So in no rush to go anywhere at all. How is your mental health now that you've moved to Australia? So a very raw and honest answer here. I'll always try and give those. I still have my struggles, but I'm doing strides better than I was when I first moved here. I think a lot of my anxious worries I had around work, especially my previous job, where I was living, what I was doing, my purpose, I feel so much more alive having a sense of adventure here in Australia and experiencing new things. It's exactly the refresh I feel like I've needed. Seeing the sun most days also has been tremendously helpful and beneficial to my mental health. I don't think I realised how much of an impact my environment had on my mental well-being until I moved here. But yeah, there's still some things that I've struggled with, so I am quite anxiously attached. However, I do feel like I've worked through a lot of the emotions and the stuff I've been struggling with when it's come to that. I was managing to navigate a very fresh and raw and new relationship, and still had a lot of healing to do from my previous relationship. He's been nothing but tremendously patient and kind and loving and understanding and supportive. I couldn't ask any more from him as a partner, but it's definitely something I've struggled with and still feel like now, a few months later, I'm doing so much better with. You know, just because you move to a new place doesn't mean it doesn't come with its own set of challenges. Obviously, I miss my family and I miss my support network. This is the first time I've never had therapy for 10 years, so the fact I'm doing so well away from all of that, I think, is a real testament to how much I'm thriving and how much I'm really stepping into becoming an adult and a woman. Now I'm edging towards 25. Wow, I didn't expect it to get that deep that quickly. I said I'd be upfront and honest, but yeah, for anyone who's affected by the seasons or just needs a complete change up, move to a new country, especially if you're in your early 20s and don't have many ties. The growth and new opportunities and challenges you'll face will only grow you more as a person, and I think that's exactly what you should be doing when you have your most freedom in your life and so much more to look forward to. Stuff like this is a lot harder to achieve when you have more of those ties. Not impossible, but you won't have as much freedom to up and go as quickly as you think you will. So that would be my advice for anyone who's in a similar position to me. Also, are we vibing with this present Jake got me? It's one of those towel hood things. I really wanted one for the beach, so he bought me one for Christmas and I absolutely love it. So if you're wondering why I'm sat in this, that's why. Kind of intertwined with what I was saying previously, I've had a few questions about how supportive my family were of my move out here. And I think initially, to be totally transparent, I don't think any of them thought I was serious. It might have just been one of those fleeting ideas and random moments I often get. I get inspired to do loads of different things at random points in my life, so I think this might have just been one of those things that they thought was going to pass after a few weeks when the fascination had worn off. But this one's actually been a long time coming, and I don't think anyone else in my family has even done anything remotely similar to this, so I think it's quite a foreign concept maybe in comparison to some people's own family unit. Every time I had a step further in the process of moving here, they slowly became more accepting, also enthusiastic and excited for me to go out on this new adventure. And I think once they had processed and accepted it, it was something that they really saw a lot of value for me. And they've been nothing but my great support network and cheerleaders all the way out here in Australia from home. So I really couldn't have done this move without their support, and I'm really grateful that they gave it to me also. A little interlude and plan for the evening. Cheers, we're celebrating tonight because it's the first time I have not been panicked ever, and I'm very calm and content with a partner going away. Massive strides. We need to celebrate where celebration is due, because that is something I've never experienced my entire life. So credit to myself, credit to my ex-therapist. If you're watching this, congratulations, we did it. And to Jake also for bearing with me and being a lovely supportive partner and communicating so wonderfully. So anyways, we have a little glass of Prosecco on the go. I've got my hair mask in. We're going to put on a face mask too. Today's going to be an indulgent little wind down, a few little treats evening. What was your career before you moved? So I'm so happy someone's asked this. This is something I love to talk about. I used to work as a junior experience designer at Dyson, and that was based in Malmesbury in the UK, around the Cotswolds area, which is southwest. Absolutely loved working there. I worked over there for about 2.5 years, and for anyone who knows much about the industry, you'll know that Dyson's kind of gone through a lot of redundancies in the past year, and I didn't see much place for my career to grow in my early 20s, and the opportunities were going to pass me by. And I thought, you know what, I'm never going to have as little ties other than having Milton, my dog, at home. This is the chance for me to go and do it. So that's how I ended up over here in Australia. I would absolutely love to go back into my career though. It's been so nice to have a little bit of a break, and I'm very much embracing that until something right comes along. But the main priority for me at the moment is enjoying this downtime. I've not stopped working since I was maybe 14 or 16. Even when I handed in my final piece of coursework / my final hand in at university, I went straight into an internship the next day. So I have not stopped the entire time since uni, and I think this is a well-deserved break. Even though I'm working, even though I have my creative hobby, which is YouTube, I'm enjoying having a little creative break and pouring that creativity into an outlet such as YouTube, which is personally self-fulfilling rather than for another company. But I'm open to working with the right agency, maybe a big name brand again. Why I started my YouTube channel. So I think my experience working at Dyson links a lot to this. When I got to work and edit a lot of videos that influencers produced, and started to realise it's actually something I have the skill set for and knowledge about that I could do myself. That gave me the final push in my confidence and abilities to be able to make this. However, I've been an avid watcher of YouTube since I was about 11, 12. So over 10 years I've spent on the platform itself, never posting anything, never sharing anything. I think that ties a lot into my social anxiety. However, I'm now at a point where I'm okay with sharing snippets of my life online, and I'm really happy to share it with other people as well. Basically wanted to document my move over here, and especially for my grandparents, friends, family, ex-colleagues, everyone who wanted to follow along and see what the journey was going to be for me. This was a really great creative outlet for me to document that experience, and also document my own reflections on life and connect with people. And having a new hobby which is creative and brings me a lot of joy. It's not about the money, it's not about the brands and the stuff that I do, it's just creating something gives me so much joy. And yeah, I guess that's why I started YouTube, and I'm very happy I've persisted on carrying on doing it. I think it's a challenge every time I upload a video. I always do question whether I'm doing enough or whether I'm creative enough of what I'm doing. But I think with time I've realised sometimes I just want to upload videos which are technically really cool and do a lot of editing and YouTube stuff, and they're really well planned. And sometimes I just want to film something like this where I'm just taking you around with my evening, answering a few questions and having a chill time together. I think it's about balance. I think that's what people like to see too, is that authenticity side. Can we also just take a moment to appreciate the sunset? Because I wish I could record with it in the background, but it would be terrible lighting. But I'll show you what I've been out looking at anyways. Are you a minimalist? Yes I am. I think anyone who moves over here with 25 kilograms of luggage has to be a minimalist. There's a few principles by minimalism I love to live my life by and would love to share with other people. And I think minimalist living has done a huge amount for my mental health and my mental well-being, helps me live with less clutter in my mind, less things to worry about, and making my life more flexible and manageable. So something I really advocate for everybody, and it definitely can be done in a way that is unique and special to you. I don't think you have to follow the extremes you see online. I don't think you have to even be the full-blown thing. Even having a pinch of it or incorporating it into your life somehow will benefit your life, and I'm a big advocate for that. Okay, so this is a slightly crazy idea, but for the first time in 6 years, or like 7 years, someone asked me what my ride or die brands are. I love anything by Aesop, or Aesop, depending on how you want to say it. I would love to work with them. They would be my like dream brand to work with. Like my life would have peaked. I also love brands like Le Labo, which is the only company I buy my perfumes from. Reformation, Realization Palm. I love Dish. Dish is a new brand I've been loving since moving here. And Kukai. I really, really want to try Merit, which is like a minimal makeup brand. Dyson, for obvious reasons. I'm a Ferrari girl through and through. Like Mercedes as well. So we're about halfway through doing this. I think my hair needs a second to cool down, so I'm just tying it back briefly and putting on a little Aesop face mask sample, which will be really exciting to try. And I thought I'd hop on to the next question. Someone asked me what my favourite book is. My instant answer to this is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. One of my favourite books I've ever read. I think it's super accessible to anybody who can understand English, although it's been translated into so many different languages. It's often something I think about weekly, the lessons I've learned from reading that book and living with some of the mentality that book kind of showed me a POV through. So that's my favourite book I've ever read. And then I would say my current read I'm really enjoying is The Creative Act. That's really amazing for anyone who's in the creative industry or is more interested in pursuing their creativity or maybe tapping into it if they haven't before. It's a book that you don't need to sit and read in one stint. It's definitely something that can be picked up and put down, or a place to find inspiration. I definitely find myself really drawn to going back and rereading passages when I'm editing videos. I might do the parsley seed one, you know. This is the one we're going to try this evening. This little sample here. I want to try all the samples of the different face masks they have, as I want to have one as a staple in my routine to do once or twice a week. And next time I'll catch you is probably in bed with a cup of tea. See, I love this. It's the smell. It's kind of giving like 90s, you know? A lot of people think it's just a frizzy mess and I should straighten it properly. Do you enjoy living in Noosa? Is it easy to make friends? I love living here. It has everything I could possibly want. Can literally walk to the beach in the morning, dip in the sea, and go get a coffee and a pastry. Like, that is the ideal start to my day, especially with like a bit of meditation or maybe like a hot yoga flow. That would be like my dream morning routine, and that's all accessible here in Noosa. I also think it's still quite a small place to live, and people my age are mostly travelling, or they're local Australians. They're all often in tradie jobs and have their own circle of friends. So I think you have to keep that in mind if you're looking at making friends here and you're wanting to move here, is that a lot of your friends might be temporary and passing through, or it might be harder to break into those circles of Australians that are already established. You'll find your footing. I met so many people through trying to find places to live and having people come in and out the flat when I was getting applications in for that. I also met more people through going out and doing stuff with them. I met people through work. I met people through my partner and interactions with my partner I've had with strangers just passing on the street. Noosa's a very friendly place. The Australian people are super friendly. Post stuff on Facebook, and there's loads of interesting groups for running and swimming. So if you're into your sports, it's a really good place to go meet people too. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Also, the rating on the face mask, I would say it's a solid 7 out of 10. Definitely tightened my pores, but I found it was like a little bit tingly and stingy to my face to start with. I think that's just the parsley seed in it doing its thing, but I prefer a more gentle face mask, something that's more relaxing rather than tightening my face. So I'm excited to try the rose one they have. And I thought, you know what? I want to get this edited and put out for tomorrow morning for you guys. So thank you again for all your recent support and patience. I really appreciate you all being here and hope you enjoyed this video. And anytime you give any of my videos a like or a comment or you share it, it really helps me be pushed out into the algorithm and find more people and get in more views and build our community. So I always really appreciate it when you do that. If you have enjoyed the video or if you have any more questions for me, feel free to drop them in the comments. Maybe I'll do a part 2 to this. But for now, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.